Part 2 of the Piet Esterhuysen pass covers the middle section of the pass. If you intend driving this pass, it's important to watch Part 1 first, which includes the Google Earth orientation animations, as well as other important information relating to safety, history, and tourism matters. There are a total of 37 bends, corners and curves along this pass, but all of them, with the exception of the hairpin bend near the summit, have turning angles of less than 90 degrees. It's not the corners on this pass which are the problem, but rather the narrow width and the very rough surface of the roadway, which is exacerbated by hundreds of oblique rainwater mounds occurring every 50 meters or so, which by default double as speed bumps. Your vehicle's wheels will cross these mounds at 4 separate intervals, causing your vehicle to roll uncomfortably. As long as you're descending very slowly, there should be no problems. Vehicles that pack a lot of weight high up on roof carriers are much more susceptible to this rolling motion than those without, as the center of gravity is raised considerably. For the descent, it's best to select low range, and you should have deflated your vehicle's tires for better traction as well as a softer ride. The road is rough and rutted and peppered with hundreds of thousands of rocks and stones. Transverse ditches and earth mounds have been dug to remove excess water off the road. In short, you're in for a very slow and bumpy ride. Not deflating your tires might well also cause a puncture, and changing a wheel on these steep inclines is going to be a risky affair. The road to the valley runs through the farm Tandfontein, over the plains of the Koerbokkenveld, and then precariously winds its way down to the valley floor. A track was originally built for ox wagons in 1945. It took the farmers 7 winters to build the road with pick and shovel until they had the use of a drilling machine and dynamite. After it was widened, Johannes Kershoff was the first person to drive down the road in December 1950. And in 1951 it was finally opened to the public and named the Piet Esterhuysen Road. As you proceed down the pass, engage low range, and if you're in a 4x2 vehicle, engage first gear high range and remain in that gear till you're all the way down, using engine compression as a natural brake rather than sitting on the foot brake. Brake failure down this pass would be disastrous. Take your time, drive slowly, around 5 to 10 kilometers per hour, and soak up the stunning scenery. If there are no vehicles waiting to ascend, you can stop anywhere for photos, but please remember to engage the handbrake properly, switch the engine off, and leave your vehicle in first or reverse gear. Altitude is lost steadily as the gradients, which range between 1 in 6 and 1 in 8, get you slowly towards the bottom of the valley. A secondary, slightly fainter 2-spur track can be seen intersecting with the pass and squiggling its way down to one of the rock pools. The Balischat campsite is beautifully located next to a small stream with rock pools, green grass and tall shady trees. Beyond the campsite, there are also spectacular walks up the many cliffs which few people have ever seen. The Cederberg region is synonymous with the growing of rooibos tea. The rooibos story began in the Cederberg a long time ago, when local inhabitants discovered that the fine needle-like leaves of the Asperlatus linearis plant made a tasty aromatic tea. They harvested the wild plants, bruised and fermented them before drying them out in the sun. Rooibos tea is a superfood, with its antioxidant properties having been proven in scientific testing. The main rooibos factory is based in the small town of Clanwilliam and originally started as a cottage industry. It has grown over the years to supply rooibos tea globally, being the market leader with a market share of 90 to 95% of the local market and 50 to 60% of the international market. A sharp right-hand bend appears at the 1.7 kilometer point, where a second notice board, just like the one near the summit, warns ascending vehicles to wait at an obvious widening in the road. Be sure to watch part 3 and the final video in the series on the Piet Esterhuysen Pass.